Today I'm going to be covering a game I had against Arakni. I was playing on Iyslander again. Arakni is a relatively new hero. He's an assassin and his game plan is mainly based on fatigue. He'll accelerate fatigue whether you block or you don't block. If his attacks will hit, he'll banish the top card of your deck. Certain attacks banish more than one. Some of his attacks banish from hand or arsenal. Against a fatigue hero, the Iyslander player has to bring in the Frost Hex kill combo because there's no way to really get there with the low density of threats in the deck naturally. So we begin with sideboarding again. I chose the pre-select that I would choose against Oldhim because the win condition will be very similar. I did change to use Ironrock Gauntlet though, and I'm running 63 cards, but I don't think that is necessary. I chose to bring in Ironrock Gauntlet because I think that Arakni will often be going down to 1 or 2 card hands, and they'll just be throwing a 0-for-4 attack at me, which is their main way to fatigue you. And what that will allow me to do is block with a 3-block and the Ironrock Gauntlet, and at the very least it would force out that last attack reaction from the hand so they don't have an arsenal. And I also chose to bring in Crown of Providence instead of Coronet Peak because Arakni is a hero who doesn't really need a full hand to be effective. They can block with 2 or 3 cards and throw one back, and so you don't want to give them the time that Coronet Peak will give them either. Another point in Providence's favour is that Arakni runs 3 to 6 ways of destroying your arsenal card. They run Leave No Witnesses, which is a 0-for-4 red, which if it hits, destroys your arsenal and banishes the top card on your deck. And they also often run Command and Conquer. It's also very risky to try and block out these attacks because they have really good ways, really good attack reactions to get over blocks. So the safest option would be to sink the card to the bottom and draw another. So I chose the Oldhim preset on my matchups, which gave me 63 cards. I don't necessarily think you should be bringing in more than 60 though. I think you want to be finding your combo the fastest possible. So I've drawn part of my combo in my opening hand, and I've also drawn a non-block. I'll usually advocate for blocking with a full hand on turn 1, just blocking out every piece of damage. You don't really want to lose any health unnecessarily. But in this case, I really do need this Frost Hex, and I don't know when I'll next see one, if I even ever do. So I have to take a risk because I know Arakni can attack react very easily, get over the blocks. This is just going to be banishing. So Arakni makes an interesting play, a very aggressive play, uses both pieces of armor on turn 0, which banishes an extra card and gives him again. And he throws an Eradicate, which is the last card in his hand, rather than arsenaling for next turn. And I opt to not block it because one doesn't block and the other is a combo piece. So turn 1's relatively easily, just playing a Hex and then arsenaling an Amulet for the Frostbite. I was very happy to see Arakni was on Arcane Barrier 2 because that allows me to kill him from a higher health total. So he buys back the Black Tech Whisperers. I'd usually expect not to see Black Tech Whisperers in an Iyslander matchup with Arakni. You'd think they would bring Null Rune Boots. The mask is still good because it fatigues faster. So I stopped to play the Amulet because he's got 3 cards and no pitch, so if he has 2 0 cost attack reactions push more damage. He's been very aggressive so far, so I wouldn't be surprised if he wants to push damage to get over the top of these blocks. Then he'll have to pitch a card instead of arsenaling it. Razor Reflex shows that his deck is very aggressive for an Arakni. I don't know why he blows Black Tech Whisperers here when he would have been getting go again once the attack hit. So I opt to keep 2 cards, Wounded Bull, blocking with the Fighting Spirit, because that one at least heals you on the block. But throw that back. I'm not too worried about not having an arsenal. Arakni's not the fastest hero. If you can disrupt him, it's good, but it's not totally necessary. And I really thought that he'd block some of this, since Arakni's game plan usually is fatiguing. But he just take it all. And he buys back Black Tech Whisperers again. So he throws an Eradicate. And I've drawn a Hypothermia. So I had a wild idea. Since he bought back Black Tech Whisperers, I really wanted to get this Hypothermia in my arsenal, because I could very confidently say he's going to use them next time an attack would hit, especially if he's got a decently sized hand. So I don't have a Coronet Peak, so I might as well throw the last 2 blocking as well. And just move to Arsenal Hypothermia. And my hope here is that he doesn't do anything else, which would allow me to set up Hypothermia for next turn. The main hope is that he doesn't use his Black Tech Whisperers here, so he'll have them ready and be baited into use them. Tunic takes up to 3. It's important to note when your Tunic is online. It's not going to matter just yet, but you always want to be aware so you can arsenal 2 block if you need. 2 costs, should I say, and then throw Waning Moon Tunic. So I've not seen another Hex yet. Insidious Chill's a good part of the combo though. Polar Blast can help me draw into more pieces, so I should be thinking about arsenaling it. But I could see arsenaling Insidious Chill or Polar Blast here. So depending on how this goes, I can also see arsenaling Sink Below, because I might not use it. So I'm going to let this attack hit, but I'm going to block some of the damage out. He's going to want to use Black Tech's in attack reaction step to give this a go again. He's got a huge hand. So far the attack's going to hit. He might be expecting a defense reaction. He plays an aggressive blue Cut to the Chase for 1 more damage. Maybe he wasn't happy with the card at the top of the deck. So he's using it as an opt on my deck. So that hits, but in the resolution step I'll play Hypothermia. And the reason you wait to the resolution step is they no longer have a window to play more attack reactions. So they're effectively going to waste a card, which may have been an attack reaction, and that would have pushed 3 more damage, possibly. So I get to use Tempo. Hypothermia bought me to develop a chill, and then Arsenal a sink below. I'm only 8 life down, so it's not looking too bad at the moment. I never really care about blocking a spider's bite on a deck without attacks, especially. So surgical extraction would be quite painful, as it always is if it hits you, because they get to banish a card from your hand. So he's sitting on 1 floating resource and 1 card in arsenal and 1 in hand, so do have to be respectful about the surgical extraction. I hang on to the sink below. I don't mind using it if need be. I also don't mind hanging on to it for an arsenal and just using 2 cards for 8 damage on my turn. Against a deck with attack reactions, especially Arakni and Dorinthia, where their attacks need to hit to gain go again, or attack twice in Dorinthia's case, sink below in arsenal is really good, because you can block out the attack. You can even overblock it a bit if you think they can get over the top, and then the sink below is just your insurance. Again, no real reason to block the dagger. So far this seems like quite a weak turn from the Arakni. Annihilate the armies armed is rarely going to be something that they can gain a silver off of in an Iyslander. So they want to be banishing attacks with it, attack actions. So since I'm looking to use Frost Hex to kill the Arakni, at least partially, I was thinking about using Enlightened Strike to draw a card. It just digs me 1 deeper. I can arsenal whatever I get. There's not many bad hits in the deck. So he uses 2 cards for 2 damage here, which is 3 damage. But it's still not very good, and I can completely block it out with Sink Below. And since I'm digging for the Frost X, what I should do is cycle the Cold Snap with the Sink effect, because it doesn't really matter what I draw, but if I did draw a Frost X, then I'd get onto it. So I'm just choosing draw a card and sinking the scar for a scar. So far I've managed to hold on to every piece of equipment. I'm saving it for when it really matters. So I drew into Ice Eternal, which is part of the combo. And then I'll opt to Arsenal it, because Arakni is getting quite low. I could draw a Frost Hex in the next hand, and I don't even draw an Ice card, so I can't fuse Ice Vein, can't fuse Ice Eternal. But everything does block for 3. So this is interesting because he does leave no witness and has 4 cards in hand. So I wouldn't risk thinking I'll be able to block it out and keep the Ice Eternal in Arsenal. Since I drew into one, there's no harm in cycling it. So I'm thinking about playing it for some frostbites, but ultimately that's 2 cards for 3 damage and 3 frostbites. It's not very good. 3 damage if he doesn't block the frostbites. Should I say. So just a Crown of Providence block to see what I'll draw into. Bottoming the Ice Eternal. Interesting, he uses a Tunic, but regardless of what he's going to be doing, I do want to get rid of it. And I do draw into an Ice card. Second Hypothermia. So infuse this red Ice Vein. He's going to give the attack more damage and go again, so get a chance to use the cards in my hand to block. I'm thinking I should keep the Ice Vein, fuse it, then use Hypothermia to throw the Winning Moon on my turn, and Arsenal the Ice Eternal. So I'll be blocking with either Emeritus Scalding or Blue Ice Vein. I think I would rather see at Emeritus Scalding late game for the Arsenal or Storm Striders. So just block some damage here. Then be able to pitch the Emeritus for second cycle. Arakni will force you to see your second cycle much quicker, but it might be what you planned because he can put a card from the top of your deck to the bottom whenever he plays a contract. So I proc Insidious Chill and he just, pitches a blue. And then I let the Ice Vein resolve because he can't block all of it with his Arcane Barrier too, so Oasis Respite would punish, but it also isn't very common. And if he uses that, he's not got a great turn to come back at me. So now I'll try and strip his hand further, seeing that he picked Yellow Shred. He's getting very low, he's only got Arcane Barrier 2, so I have a good feeling that I could just remove this last card in his hand and then deal a lot of damage on his next turn. and I have a tunic counter which enables me to push the Ice Eternal to X equals 8, so 4 frostbites, 4 arcane damage. Waning Moon for 2. Shouldn't be anything you can do to stop it. So pivoting was crucial in this game. The opponent was playing extremely aggressively. He only brought Arcane Barrier 2. So I thought about it and the way the hands lined up, I would only need 1 Frost Hex to kill him. So I draw into 3 blues and a red, but I need to keep one of the blues to fuse, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it is still X equals 4 rather than 5. 4 frostbites, 4 damage, nothing he can really do. So I do decide to go for it. It's not lethal, but with Arcane Barrier 2, Waning Moon should eventually get there. The part I was most scared of seeing was a Sigil of Solace. But I'm not blowing Storm Striders for this. So 4 frostbites at the end of his turn will deal 4 damage, putting him to 4 health. So now I'm thinking about getting 3 unblockable Waning Moon damage in, or is it better to save this card for Arsenal? And I decide, since he's on Arcane Barrier 2, that the Waning Moon will eventually get him if he's on 1 health. So I decide to put him to 1. For that reason. Now I'll pretty much seal the game. Once I do draw my hand up, I'll be able to respond to any instance like Sigil of Solace. And Waning Moon is also an instant. So I can respond to 2 instants with lethal damage from this point. And he just decided to give up, which I don't think is necessarily bad. He was definitely dead looking at my hand. So that was the Arakni game, and it went quite a bit different from how I would have expected it to go. I would have expected it to be much slower and Arakni would be playing much more defensively. I don't think they should have taken all the physical damage. 2 woundables connecting, Enlightened Strike, draw card connected, no blocks. Arakni should have a much better chance if he forces Iyslander to need more Frost Hexes, because Arakni can always put the Frost Hexes to the bottom. So we did see that I did draw 2 Frost Hexes next to each other, and I wasn't tracking, but I do believe that was because the Arakni saw them and put them to the bottom, at least one of them. So I think Arakni should be playing a lot more defensively. Run Arcane Barrier 3. I don't think Black Tech Whisperers are necessary in the matchup. You definitely won't have enough silver to pay for both equipment pieces. So focus on the mask. Try and banish the Frost Hexes. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you do, leave a like. And I'll make another Iyslander gameplay video shortly, hopefully. See you.